Hello, for gaming community and Beyblade community as a whole. We're here for another podcast episode tonight or today, whatever time you're watching it. It's going to be myself, Crisis Crusher '07, Mike, and Geester 99. We're doing a just an open discussion tonight. There's a lot been going on this week. The biggest release of I won't say Beyblade history because I wasn't here through any of the transitions, but
Gear
definitely one of
sports.
yeah, definitely one of the biggest Beyblade events in recent history by far. There's so much to discuss, so much to talk about, so many videos, and that's what we're up here to discuss today. All right. So yeah, man, how y'all feel about the new system? Like, what's some of y'all thoughts?
I'm indifferent.
You're indifferent about it?
Yep.
Yeah. How so?
So obviously it's a whole new system and we'd have to get used to it. But the way they're doing it, it kind of takes away the traditional Beyblade. Like now you don't even have to learn how to play attack. You just hard launch a flat driver or flat it's called a bit now. You launch a flat bit as hard as you can, and eventually it will catch that ridge and it's gonna fly around and do the work for you.
Yeah. I
So
can see that.
and I just recently started playing attack in burst, and you
Mm-hmm.
get this really good feeling of reward when you can do it better than other people. Now it doesn't matter. There is no doing it better than someone else. You just launch, the stadium does it for you.
Yeah. How you feel about it, Jared?
Um, I'm managing my expectations. Like I'm excited because it's something new, but
Mm-hmm.
it's so early. It's kind of hard to tell where it's gonna go. But like, I'm not gonna like have my hopes up like crazy. Like this is the best thing to ever touch planet Earth or something, and then it not be that good, and then it's gonna like let me down. But if I like, you just manage your expectations and just like roll with it, wait for it to come out, and see how it is then.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then we'll go from there. Like that's where I'm about at right now. On the
Yeah.
surface, I don't like it looks fun,
Mm-hmm.
but like competitive wise, I don't know if it's there, but they're like
Right.
pushing for it. But I won't
Yeah.
know until I play with it personally. So until then, I'm not gonna get too hyped up about it. But I
Yeah.
mean, if I play with it and there is a lot of like intricacy and all that stuff, then yeah, I'll be
So
excited.
so I think I'm more hyped about what Takara Tomy is doing, like in general, with the fact of like having things go global, trying to create this into an actual sport.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like I'm more excited for that stuff than I am the new system that we're about to have.
Yeah. I think so I've been watching a lot of videos, and I I'm 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 kind of with you, Mike. I don't know as far as like the tactics that would come in, because it does look like this the stadium, pretty much does everything for you. But from some of the videos I watched with some of the battles, I was paying attention to where certain players, like, they had a Zenki just posted a video. I think it was with Elise, because they were at like some premiere event for the
Noel, right?
battling. No, oh, Noel, yeah,
Mhm.
correct. And I think they played against like either one of the workers or one of the hosts there. And I was watching, like, watch the battle, of course, but I was also watching the launch. And they are flat launches, but it was also where the opponent was placing their Beyblade. They were kind of placing it along the ridge, so as soon as it kind of looked like the opponent may have been trying to snipe, or he was positioning it so that it can get along that ridge a little bit quicker. Um, I'm not sure if that would have a tactic in it or not. Like, it seems like it could. Like, yes, true, we could just launch as hard as we can in there and just hope for the best. But along the lines of them also trying to make it go global and doing was Gear Sport is what it's
Yeah,
called.
Gear Sport.
Doing something like that, I would think, like, for it to be a sport, like, and legitimately competitive, there would have to be some tactic with it, or somebody has at least tested and found something out, or maybe even with later releases, like we'll see it. Like you said, Jared would actually playing with it, then we can figure a lot of things out. Because I I don't want to get my hopes up too much, but I do feel like there may be a little bit more tactics to it than what we can see right now.
Now, I will give the benefit of the doubt in the sense of this is the very beginning of the system.
Hmm.
So there's a bunch of things they could do part wise to come out and change things. So like right now it just looks like the way the stadium is and everything, it's very attack heavy
Oh
because
yeah.
because a flat driver is going to go around and connect with that gear system enough times to give them a good advantage of trying to get that extreme finish or a KO or a burst. So like stamina is really definitely like hurt. Defense is really hurt. I mean, defense never really exists to begin with.
Yeah. They said they
And
got
Might
defense.
it
I mean,
might
they
now.
say it, but yeah,
I mean,
that's what I was saying. Yeah.
it might now, but I mean, I don't know when I'm seeing a defense bay wearing a with a sharp tip. I'm confused, but
Yeah.
It could just be whatever they found to work in the stadium, because that's how it was for like 0G. Like they like the typing sure the parts got changed when they transitioned the stadium or whatever. All the sharp
yeah.
tips got called defense types in
Oh
that
yeah.
stadium. So like it could be one of those things where maybe the sharp tip is better for defense in this stadium or this system, and that's why it's on the defense type. But it was really weird seeing that when I initially saw. I'm like, why is the sharp and on the defense type and the stamina type have the ball? But
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I
I
think
mean,
go ahead.
like I said, like, cause I've been thinking like, what other stuff could they do like in the future for this release? Cause like one of the things too is like, I guess it's also kind of hard to transition into this because we're coming from something with like a very wide low driver like bearing drift,
Hmm.
and now we're transitioning into things that are basically fusion and Excel, and all that again.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's a very weird transition when you're so used to having such wide bases. And
Hmm.
I'm sitting here, I was thinking about it, I'm like, well, I guess they could just make a wider base, a wider bit anyway. Even making the gear part wider, like it's no different than the gears in the DB launchers, where if you use a regular gear, it's what if you look at the gear, it's wider than the little gear inside the power launcher.
Hmm.
I mean, they can do the same thing with the bits.
Yeah, it's so much. I think right now I was thinking about this too because y'all seen that one exclusive bay. It's like the purple one, or
oh, the one
Oh,
you get from that app or whatever.
yeah,
yeah.
Cobalt Dragoon or something like that, or
Hmm.
Drago.
Yeah, I think so. And everyone was
Cobalt
in love.
Drake, that's what it's called.
Cobalt Drake.
Yeah.
Um, everyone that saw it like loved it and liked it, and I thought about that because one of the things that that players had asked for, especially from the MFB era, were some of the metal contact points, and that but this bay doesn't have any metal contact points. That one exclusive, at least that I saw, and when I look at it, it's the one that most closely resembled a burst Beyblade, and we've been on this burst
It
series for like the past 8 years. So it's
it,
probably
it actually looks more like Dragoon GT.
Dragoon GT.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And it's like the just from looking at it, probably felt like something closer to home. That's maybe why we fell in love with it. I'm not sure. It does look really cool. But I think this transition,
It also has a better color scheme than all the others. Like
it
all the
does.
others look so bland and like they just look pretty bad, to be honest. Like I think Wizard Arrow is like the only one that actually looks good.
I like
I
the red one. I like the red one. I
I
can't
like
remember.
I like the way the metal wheels look, and I
Hmm.
kind of like the minimalistic look. I just haven't been too much of a fan of like the little like characters they have drawn in, at least on the first four.
Hmm.
Except, I mean, I do like Wizard Arrow a bit. I like that one, but
Yeah, the
in
Wizard,
general, I'm not like the biggest fan of like the actual like I don't know what they're called for this series.
the
These
avatars or whatever they
these
are.
whatever comparison it is, whatever they are. I don't like the art style as much. That could always change though, because these like we've been saying, these are like the first four.
Mm-hmm.
So it could
What about the
change later
size?
on.
What about the size of them?
I actually like the smaller ones. I like smaller Beyblades more, and I'm
Me too.
hoping that they don't get too much bigger than this. Like they
Mm-hmm.
could always go the metal fight route where they power creep everything through weight as opposed to size and weight, like Burst did.
Yeah, yeah.
But I don't.
I
It's just weird because I don't know how much like if you increase the weight on these, I don't know how much more stress it puts on the gear system in the stadium, the gears on
Yeah.
the bit, and like that's the one of the main worries I have with the system in general is like the gear system. Not because of how it changes competitive stuff. I'm just more worried about it breaking and wearing, especially for like organizers. Like you're gonna have to if you have to keep replacing these stadiums, it's gonna be tough.
It is. I think it may not from the way that I know the gear system comes in and out. Um I think I did see that it's displayed in one of the pictures, I think, with the packaging. Like you put the gear system in there. So that's probably something that's going to be sold separately. Hopefully it's not like crazy price, but just for you to replace it, and it has different pieces. So if
If
you
that,
buy one and one piece, like one specific part of it was bad, you don't have to replace the whole thing. But
if that gear piece is able to be sold separately, it better be $5.
oh yeah, I'm sure it'll be fairly cheap. It'll be crazy for it to be like the entire price of like a whole stadium because you might as well just get a whole new stadium. Um, but I do like the sizes of the Beyblades. I like that they are smaller. Because I enjoyed the little bit of Metal Fight that I played at the convention I was at. I enjoyed that a whole lot. I This was definitely something that I feel like Hasbro had their hands on. The stadium looks very Hasbro-ish with the whole system looks Hasbro-ish, but with TT quality.
Yes,
Um,
that's
that's
one of the thoughts I've had. It looks like a
yeah,
Hasbro Stadium.
yeah.
That's
It's
what a lot of people are saying. That just reminds them of a big Hasbro gimmick.
I mean, this
hmm
whole thing looks like Slingshot that works better.
hmm
That's what I
hmm
see.
and it does look it looks fun. It looks fun. It's definitely
Oh
it
yeah, it
yeah.
definitely looks fun.
I've thought all the Hasbro gimmicks, like, and at least for like most of them, they seem very fun. And like I know at least for Burst and like a little bit for Metal Fight, they had some gimmicky stuff, but not really. That was more of their like own separate line that they made.
hmm
But I mean, that's not too important right now. But like
It's all good.
they kind of introduced that more into Burst, like the mainline Burst stuff, as opposed to like having it be its own separate thing that you had to
hmm
buy. But I mean, all those gimmicks look fun. Like Slingshot, the gimmick looks fun. Like all
hmm
the other ones that they've done, they look fun. Like Hypersphere, like watching people play that seems fun. I just don't know if I could get into it in a more competitive sense. But
Yeah,
like,
Yeah.
that's always been the problem. Like these gimmicky things of Hasbro look fun, but you're just kind of looking at them and you're like, I can't see this being competitive because there's too many variables.
yeah,
One
and that's like where I've been on that stuff, and then like with this now, it's like it's weird that they're trying to make this like a more competitive thing. They're pushing towards more age groups, but as they're doing that, they're introducing like the most gimmicky system that they've ever released.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, and I was just about to bring that up. Thank you about the age group thing because they do have the masters, and I was thinking on that. Like, it's finally open up to everyone, and there's a possibility that it could be the least like official competitive platform. If it is more so luck based, but in that same regard, I am thinking that they possibly they would have had to make it competitive if they're opening it up to so many people. Like I can't see the sport just being completely based on luck. Um, Shoot, but we won't know,
I
I
mean,
guess, until we know. It could be even just balancing these combos for defense or to have a harder hit power or something like that. I don't know.
I've also said it before. This is the first year of the system. Like they could completely test this whole thing out and then be like, okay, this is wrong. We made a mistake. We're gonna keep with with the system of the bays, but we're gonna change some things. Like maybe they make a new stadium and new bits that don't have the gears to them, and they
hmm
could keep going. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. It's when with the hyper it was Hypersphere, right? With Hasbro.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought of when I did see the bids because all the Hypersphere like parts or drivers were pretty much the same. Just some of them a little shit, but they all kind of worked in the same
Yeah.
way. But I don't know. We'll see. I stayed up till like 2 o'clock in the morning watching Zanky and trying to update the site and stuff like that. But I was hyped. There was so much information that came out all at once, and I didn't even get to read it all or see it all. But I know the Masters thing was a big thing, even with the advertisement, like that it had adults in it. Like that was something new and crazy to me.
Yeah.
I saw some clip or read an article about it. Like they're gonna reach out to the Asian countries for Takara Tomy to be global first. Which before we talked to Beyblader 101, I wouldn't have understood that because I was like, the WBBA is already over there, this and that. But they have various distributors, so maybe I don't know. They're trying to get everybody on the same page, and then they're also reaching out to the European countries, which I imagine will be headed up by Hasbro, but I'm not completely sure.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is it even because I've read a bunch of articles now too, and they even they're even saying that they are going to be going to their like offices in New York and stuff like that to
Yep.
try to
Yep.
get the stuff going over here. So if that's the case, I mean, I really hate to say it, but I mean I have had a conversation with Shindog about this already from the past 2 days, and it is very possible Takara Tomy comes to the WBO and says, "Here's a cease and desist."
Yeah. It
Right?
it is quite possible, not only for them, but also with the stores. Well, when I looked at that, it looked like because the thing in New York, it said that they're going to be a licensing agency,
Yeah.
and I don't know if that means like the various stores or organizations can go to them to get like official to become like official, have an official license, or like even if it was a hobby shop or something like that, to be able to host like they do for an official Yu-Gi-Oh store, or Magic the Gathering, to host like those official regionals or like tournaments, G4, G3 as far as Beyblade goes, or if they're like completely taken over. I'm not completely sure how that's gonna go. I think regardless of it, even though like it could be bad news for the organization, um, Beyblade will still be here. I guess it. We just.
Yeah,
I think.
no
Yeah.
matter what, Beyblade's going to keep going and keep growing. It's just it's possible that the WBO, I mean, the WBO wouldn't be able to be the WBO anymore. It would have to be just like Fighting Spirits Inc., and that's like it.
Hmm.
Like that's what they'd probably just change it to. They'd just be Fighting Spirits, which
Hmm.
is fine. But at that point there though, I don't know if Takara Tomy would allow us to even like host Beyblade X. They might not care for hosting legacy formats, but
Yeah.
Beyblade X they might say no, you can't host a tournament through here. It's got to go through one of our distributors.
Yeah. It is possible. I'm not entirely sure because I think they. I mean, they still have private tournaments even in WBBA regions.
Yeah.
And that's what might be what it becomes.
It's also possible Takara Tomy comes to the WBO and says, "Hey, we want to work with you guys now."
When I read that article, that's more, and I could be completely wrong, but with the writing, and it could have been all politics, like just fluff. But when they said, they're trying to grow, they didn't say the term community, but they were just trying to grow, Beyblade worldwide, be like fun and friendly for everyone and things like that. And I feel like if they came over and to anywhere, like not just here with the WBO, or how we have things running here within the states. They came anywhere and just like, hey, we're shutting this down, this down, this down, this down, and now you got to follow us. I think that would rub a lot of people the wrong way, to where they was like people that don't really care, like they're still just going to go and play, but the people who have been growing with their local communities and maybe have some loyalty to that, it would seem kind of jerkish on
Yeah.
Takara told me to do that because that happened with I think Nintendo, when there was a fan ran organization, or they had like a um conventions, and it was for Smash Brothers because Nintendo wasn't as focused on the competitive aspect for Smash Brothers like a lot of other games were. So there was just a fan base, a fan club that got together. It grew up to be something big, bigger than anything that Nintendo had done. And Nintendo put out a like cease and what is it? Cease and
Cease and
like
desist.
yeah, cease and desist, and it was like no more of this. But it got a whole lot of backlash. It got a whole lot of backlash from the community because they were like, "Well, y'all aren't doing anything, haven't done anything. Like we've been trying to do something, and now it's like you just want to tell us to just stop." Even with that, but Takara Tomy could have a leg to stand on. They're like, "Yeah, we want y'all to stop because we're trying to do this." But also another thing is like WBO is not is nonprofit. They're not making money off of these tournaments, nor are they um like they don't have you can't like you're not you're not taking money from Takara Tomy. If anything, is helping Takara Tomy because we have to import everything from them. So I don't know. There's a lot of variables with that, but it's kind of a scary time. Like it's fun and exciting because it's like, man, the Takara Tomy will be over here, WBBA, things like that. But it's also like it'll drastically change our way of life. And then also like the freedom we have to change some things. Like I just thought about that now. Like we do a lot of complaining sometimes when it comes to the rules and the way we play the game, but we're free to do that. And if we have a corporation come over here and just take over and it's like this is how you're going to play, this is how you're going to do it, it will shut up a lot of people, and people who want to play will just be able to play, but then that voice of, hey, we're running into this issue, can we do something about it, may never be heard.
I mean, the way I see it, if worst comes to worst, they tell WBO you got to stop or whatever, and you can't run tournaments. I'd be okay with that as long as they replace it with something comparable. Like you can't tell us to stop playing or stop hosting tournaments and then not give us a way to play anymore.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's the thing that I would want if that had to happen. But like the way stuff has been for like the other series, like tournament wise, we haven't seen that. And like maybe they've changed their philosophy on it. But if we get our tournaments axed and then we get nothing in return, especially for like us older people, because sure they could be like, oh, 13 and under is fine, we can have tournaments 13 and under only. But like all of us older fans are just kind of just left out and can't do anything about it anymore, and we don't have a place to host anymore, so we can play. Like that would suck.
Yeah.
I don't, the reason because I'm thinking on they're a business, and they they talk about the money, but they are very, I mean, not the money, talk about the gameplay, but their focus and probably the reason why they are drawing it to adults because they see that we're also playing and spending a lot of money. So the more people they can get to play, the more benefit to them.
Well, it makes the
Um,
most sense. I mean, adults
Yeah.
have money to buy this stuff.
they got the money to buy it. It's not
What
like
what
because
kid
parents
has
are just
$50 to go buy it?
that's
You know?
100% true. Yeah, and I'm sure like even looking at it like yeah, parents dump a buttload of money into this game, but once their kids age out, they're not spending anymore. And it's only the adults that continue on to keep it going. And that's just what it is. So they're going to have to like cater to us in some sense. So I don't think they'll completely bash it out. They'll give us something and
I
um
I see them coming in and trying to work with WBO more than I see them taking it away, to be 100% honest.
mhm,
Like I can see Takara Tomy saying, we'll buy the WBO from you.
yeah. Yeah.
Like I mean they're only gonna they're not gonna give like a super large amount because it's a nonprofit organization, but basically they just want to buy the website.
Yeah.
You
But
know, that's what they would want to do. Then they would want to get it to where it's organized better and updated and whatnot, and the stuff that we're not doing. And
That's facts. I think I think yeah, because for what it is, the WBO, the community as well, the website is perfect for the Beyblade community as far as a ranking system, being able to post a tournament. There's various things that we can do. I think Zenki had a proposal put up, like you
Yeah.
could structure it by region or by country, even by state, however you want to do it. So you click on that area, you could see, and it was like, hey, we got G4 tournaments here, G2, G3, 2, 1, whatever. This is where it's all going to go. The ranking, these are the ways we had the rankings split up. You have a Google Doc or whatever just for the rules, and it could just be more organized, and they could take care of it. And I'm sure they would possibly take better care of it, because it's part of their business, and they will have people on payroll and staff. Like they could do exactly what they want. It could all be for profit because they own the rights to Beyblade.
I
Um,
mean, I'll be 100% honest, James. I hope they come here and they start distributing here in America and everything is the same as it is in Japan and everything.
yeah.
Because honestly, the prices are going to be a lot cheaper than what I have to pay right now.
Yeah, they will be. I thought about that, and I was like, I'm even at I know I'm a store owner, and I try to have the lowest prices possible. Um, but like when people come even to my local tournaments, and they're like, hey, if you're getting into this and you don't like you're just trying it out for your son or daughter or whoever, don't get the TT bays. Like just get some Hasbro bays. You can buy some cheap Hasbro bays, let them come here, have fun. They may not win, but they can have fun. And if they enjoy that, then you can make a bigger investment. And it'll be the same. If I know I can't sell anything, like honestly, um, the only benefit I could see to the stores at that time, if like Target and Walmart was selling them, is if you went to your Target and you were trying to get a specific Beyblade, you can't find it. You go to your local Targets, all your local hobby shops, all your Walmarts, and then it's as simple as hopping on Amazon, except it's a trusted source, and you're able to get the part or something that you're looking for. But if it's to the point to where it's like my Beyblades are costing $5-10 more than what you could just get them at the store, because it's for gaming. No matter what anyone think, that my store specifically was made to help the community get Beyblades. And if my store cannot help the community get Beyblades at a reasonable price, then there's no need for the store, to say the least. It's like and that is the overall focus. So yeah, man, I agree with you, because if I'm able to go to my local store, because I play and I collect as well, there ain't no reason for me to import. Everyone is able to get it. We're all able to play. We all have access, cheaper access, and I think that overall benefits more than anything else. I think I said same word like 3 times in the same sentence, but it's whatever. Yep. Yeah.
I mean, we'll have to see how everything ends up releasing, because like if we get our releases in the States or whatever, if it is the same thing and there's no difference between the two types of Beyblades, or I guess it wouldn't be two types, it'd be the same thing. If we're getting the same thing that they're getting in Japan and stuff here, like we would have to hope it releases at the same time. Otherwise, the only advantage to these stores would be, well, you can get it like 6 months or 5 months, or like however long it ends up being. You import it for whatever price, or you can wait the time and get it here from your store.
hmm
But
Don't the thing with that though, if they come and they're running the organization and the tournaments and things, the way, as at least from what I've heard, it has to be released in your country or your
yeah,
region to be able to use it. So unless you're hosting something
yeah, that's
private.
if that's the case, then sure, like it
Yeah.
wouldn't be a big deal. But let's say we're still nothing changes. Let's say all this worldwide stuff, they just kind of threw it out or whatever,
hmm
and we're stuck with what we already have been doing now. Well, then we'd probably be behind, at least in releases, I would think.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. We may be. I think I
I
think
mean,
go ahead.
it is possible that they decide to just release globally, like maybe the very beginning of the stuff while they're still getting their stuff situated in the other countries.
Hmm.
They don't ship globally right away, but then they get to a point where like, okay, now we can ship globally. Everything that we already have over here in Japan starts sending over to all the countries as like a mass release of a bunch of stuff, and then every month or whenever it is we come out with something new, it globally gets distributed.
You
That's
know
always
what?
possible.
That might be what the global more so pertains to, that
Yeah.
everything is coming out at the same time. I didn't really think about that. Another thing, I know over here we tend to bash Hasbro a lot, but it is a big benefit that we have because all these other distributors, they're just like distributors. They don't really have a say in what goes on. Like they can get exclusive WBBA prizes, or Coro releases to be able to do, but they're, as far as I know, they're not like sitting on the board or giving the ideas, and definitely not being able to run their own products like Hasbro is. So we do have Hasbro, and that may be what runs it. All I can think, if anything was different, like Hasbro is making their own, and maybe the quality isn't as good. Um, but if that's all we got, then something like that might be all that we have. But Hasbro will be able to have a say, I think, for us. I don't know if that would be good or bad because Hasbro really hasn't looked out as much already. But
What was I thinking about just now? I lost it a little bit, but
I mean,
uh,
my only thing is that they're saying they said something about releasing globally, but if Hasbro's allowed to change things, then that's not them releasing globally. You know what
yeah,
I mean? Like if Hasbro is
yeah,
changing something, like that's not the Takara releasing something globally. That's Hasbro changing it and releasing something of their own.
yeah, yeah.
Like
That is.
there is zero reason for Hasbro to change anything from the Takara Tomy stuff if Takara Tomy is supposed to be shipping everything globally.
Hmm. Hmm. It's gonna be, man. It's like we're so much in the dark right now. It's like a lot. I think the overall, like, yeah, we know what the Beyblades look like. We know what the gameplay looks like. Stadium. Um, there's even some rulings out. There's the speculations, but we don't. I feel like the more we know, the less we know. It's like, okay, so we're gonna have a Masters division to play, but like, what does that all entail? Like, yes, it's globally. You're gonna be working with the Asian countries, and then you're coming over to the West.
Well,
Um,
the unfortunate thing is there's nobody over there in Japan like during this event that is from America or anything that is able to like speak Japanese or something that or have somebody there to translate and go, hey, I have questions about this global release stuff. What are your plans for this? There was nobody there to talk to them about that.
mhm,
And no one, no, I mean, I don't blame anyone in Japan. They're not going to think, what is this going to do for, the other countries in the world that want to be a part of this.
mhm.
They're not thinking about that. They're just thinking, oh, new Beyblades.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
because it's all the same for them.
like,
Yeah.
they showed that the app can be used worldwide. They showed that. Okay,
Hmm.
well, what's the point in the app being usable worldwide?
Yeah. It's
Is it gonna, are you gonna change it and have like a English version for over in America or Europe or anything, and does it work the same way? Can we get points and send it in and you ship me a, you know, free Beyblade or whatever? Like
hmm. Hmm. I I I think it would. Like, I hope so. It's
you would hope so, but
yeah, yeah.
I mean, Jared,
Um,
how did the old Baylogger things work? You could use them
so
over here,
yeah,
right?
you had to like I don't know if you had to use a VPN or something to download the app. You had to go through some like hoops to get the Japanese app on your phone to use the Baylogger. The app was all in Japanese. There was no translation for it. And then
mhm,
you had to do all the different stuff to get the exclusive bays and stuff that came through the app, like whatever that one was that we were talking about at the beginning. But yeah, it would have been nice to have that, but like we'll just have to see. I don't want to like I don't want to like lose years of my life trying to figure out how this is all going to work. For all we know, they don't even know how it's all going to work yet.
Yeah.
True.
Because
Yeah.
like they could just say it's a global release, and then halfway through they're like, "This isn't gonna work. We just got to like do it the way we did last time." And then it is
Yeah.
what it is at that point. We don't know. They could always scrap that idea.
They just give the big finger to America and Europe and everything.
Yeah. I'm trying to be optimistic for. I think something. I guess to say like I think they have possibly thought some things through. I also think like with the Masters thing, it wasn't just us talking about that. It was also a lot of the WBBA culture or communities around the world that were talking about like older players and things like that. And when I would hear those things, you know, you watch a lot of the big YouTubers, even like our little show. I doubt Takar Tomi's listening to this, but like they're more than likely paying attention. You know, I'm sure that that Hasbro in the lease knows about the WBO. Takara Tomy more than likely knows about the WBO.
Both know we exist.
Yeah,
Both do know we exist.
yeah, they know it exists. They listen. More than likely like have seen some of the forums, some of the threads, like what people are talking about. Like we don't know like and that phrase like Big Brother's watching. We
I'm a
don't.
Hasbro spy.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like it's some things that I think they may have worked some things out, and then we're just gonna have to see. Because I mean, if we think about it, a lot of our complaints were with the stamina and like the DB Stadium being very stamina focused, and lo and behold, we have a fully what it looks like is going to be an attack style meta. Um, that's releasing. I don't think that was by just chance or whatever. It's definitely going to speed up the game. We don't have to worry. I was just reading in the organizer circle before we hopped in here um, about like the rulings and how the rulings look like clearly defined. You know, there's no like guessing, um, or for the most part, no like guessing or trying to rule shark and argue like, no, 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 this happened or this happened. It's like, no, bro, you definitely were KO'd. You know,
Yeah.
you definitely lost.
Yeah, like
Um,
wall bounce KOs is not a thing.
Yeah.
mhm.
You know, it's you know, if it hits the wall and comes back in, it's still in play. It has to leave what's called the play area and not return.
Yeah, it says that in the rules, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so
Like
it's
that,
like you think about stuff like that. Like I don't know, I have not talked to anyone or heard anyone in the WBBA say that, but it is heavy in the WBO, and for it to clearly say that, I mean, I don't know. I could be a conspiracy theorist or crazy or something like that. But to have it like that clearly defined, it's like, look, WBO staff. I know what y'all doing over there, but this is how it is supposed to be. You know, I don't know though. I don't know.
I mean
I'm just
that would have been the simplest way to do KOs in the BB or in the BO9.
yeah,
Literally, if it leaves the play area and does not return, it's a KO.
yeah. And they clearly defined it. And the only people that I've heard arguing about it or that even had that rule is just us. And we've talked to a couple of WBBA players. We have some on the WBO and even listened way back on TSO's podcast. It was the same thing. I've never heard of the bounce back rule except for within the WBO.
Yeah, because it doesn't exist anywhere else except for here.
Mm-hmm.
And it
Mm-hmm.
only existed here, you know, be at what? Start or middle of GT was when they put it in.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah. Start or
Yeah.
middle of GT. So they put it in during GT, and then basically by the time Sparking came around, most people were like, why is this even here?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and then they, you know, stopped rotation changing as well, you know, because, you know, for whatever reason. Like, I understand for the design format of like pick three, choose one, single bay,
This is
and
still single bay.
right, like in single bay, like taking out the rotation change and all that, like all that was fine for that.
Mm-hmm.
But the moment like you introduce 3-on-3 and like if you do 5G, like rotation
Yeah.
changing should be allowed. I mean, I guess like I guess single bay rotation changing could also be allowed technically, but you just would never really want to pick anything other than the rotation changer, so it would just get boring.
Yeah, yeah. And it's like, I think because when they made the toys and made the game, they made it for the way I would say it was meant to be played, or the way they intended for it to be played. And our rules came for the way that we adapted to play for our locals or for specific individuals that wanted a change. Um, but then it didn't coordinate with everything that we could do. Like it limited us. It like opened up different play methods, like different formats, but it also limited us to what we could do with the Beyblades themselves. Um, man, it's interesting. This is off topic of what we were just talking about, but what do y'all think as far as think or y'all don't even think about it, the grips and the launchers? Because I was not hyped that it was a ripcord launcher. You know, I like the string launchers, but after watching people play with them, like they're kind of big and they look pretty sturdy for the size of the Beyblade that they're using. They looked efficient. Let me say that.
So if some of the videos I watched, I actually paid attention and listened to the ripcord launcher.
Hmm.
That ripcord launcher is actually very smooth.
Hmm.
It has a bearing in the launcher mechanism.
Oh, for real? I didn't know
So
that.
yes, it has a bearing in it. So these launchers might actually be fine even as ripcord launchers.
Mm,
Um,
that's
I'm
good.
I'm more honestly upset that right out of the gate they're not selling a string launcher.
It
Yeah.
we'll probably get it like a little bit later. It's how it was
Yeah,
for the beginning of Burst as well. Like only way you could get the rip or the string launcher was through the start dash set, and then it was a couple releases later, maybe like 2 3 months later, we got like a single release on the string launcher, and then a bunch of the burst like single layer burst releases also came with one.
Hmm.
So I don't think it's going to be that much of an issue like out of the gate not having them because they'll eventually like release them in a bunch of other ways. So
All
I'm
these
not like too worried about it.
all these Beyblades are right rotation too, correct?
Yeah,
Single rotation. Okay.
yeah. For now, I guess
Yeah.
we'll have to wait. I mean, I'm sure we're definitely gonna get less than something. Just judging by the way the stadium's designed, like the one half of the little top half of the loop that curves back in never gets used by right spin stuff. So
Hmm. Hmm.
obviously, it's there for the eventual lesson release.
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
hoping that it's not. We just don't try to make a lesson stamina type for this 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 iteration of the game
Yeah.
because we
Well,
saw how that went last time.
well, one thing I did notice, with these bits and as high as the Beyblades sit, like Mike was talking about it earlier, that we were used to like drift and the lower Beyblades and their water and this and that. Like, I don't think the spin equalization, even if it did try to become a thing, would even matter as much because these Beyblades, for one, it's metal contact, and then for two, I feel like they would topple over. Like Beyblades, we talked about it with Shindog and them. Um, we talked about it with Shindog and everything, and Papa Bay. Like the bays, they don't have any incentive to topple over because they're so
Yeah.
low and their center of gravity is so low. But these, it's like the complete opposite. It's like, hey, we're gonna have a clear defined winner. You either getting KO'd, you're gonna get burst, or there's gonna be a definitive outspin. Like we're not playing that game of let's look at the replay 50 million times to try to see like who eked out a millimeter of a win. These Beyblades don't seem like they're gonna do that at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a matter of waiting and seeing how the rest of the releases coming after these initial four are like. Because I mean, they could have just totally changed their design philosophy. I mean, it looks like they kind of have from
Hmm.
like you said, where we had a very stamina focused meta and all that stuff with burst, and then we're transitioning to a stadium that is like very attack focused
It
and
is.
basically like it's I mean everything is geared towards pushing everything towards those that one half of the stadium with all the pockets and stuff. So
Hmm. Are there
well,
pockets behind those two ridges?
I don't believe so. I think it's only on the one half of the side. Like, there's the extreme finish area, and then there's like right above it and right below that is where like the two pockets are. And then I don't think there's any other pocket through the rest of the stadium.
Hmm.
So it's like it's all pushed towards that one direction where they want your thing to ride the rail and then come off the rail towards the center. And
There's like
it's
three
all like
ridges in there though, too, right?
there's like the one in the middle, there's like the central like part where all the stamina stuff's gonna sit, and then there's like the ridge right on the outside of that. And then I don't think there's another one until the ridge. I'd have to
Okay.
look at the stadium again, but I'm pretty sure it's only the one ridge in the stadium.
I think the stadium, I know like there was that outside ridge before it goes to like gear, the gear part. But I think the part that's over there by like where the angles are, like the back part of the stadium away from the pockets, I feel like it was flat there for a little bit. And I think that's when I watched the match that I watched. That's exactly where um the opponent of Noel was launching. And I don't know. What yeah, you're right. Jared, we can't waste years of our lives like trying to think about it. We'll find out. We'll find out in like
We'll find out when
in
we get it in a
July.
couple months.
Yeah. Once we get it. I will say now though, I know I said I was gonna wait until like probably October to have a big event, but if I can get at least like 4 people, I'm down to do like a little round robin. It don't have to be even a
Yeah.
WBO event. Like I just want to see like what people can put together. And because I'm definitely ready to play in the stadium to see what it's like. If anything, if it's not competitive, I know it'll be fun, but I'm still hoping that we can get a little bit of a competitive edge with it.
Don't I just realized if you look at the stadium, um, the the gear ridge, it's in sections.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
like you could if one section like kind of breaks and if like they sell like a whole replacement thing, you could just pop out that one section and put that one section in. You don't have to replace the entire thing at once.
Yeah. Yeah. I had noticed that. And I was like, yeah, if you do buy it, do it piece by piece. And maybe I
The
don't
only
think
other reason why I think it would be in pieces like that is just for shipping.
Oh
Because
yeah.
obviously you're not gonna have this thing all put together in a box because that's gonna take up way more space than if you like unclip it and all that other stuff. So it
I mean,
could just be that.
to be fair, if that ridge is already connected, it doesn't do much of anything. Like
what as
I
far
don't
as
know.
space.
Yeah, as far as like space in the box, if it's already connected to it, I don't know what that would do.
No. I think it is for the not necessarily for shipping because I have the picture on the website of what it looks like in the packaging. Like you'll have it outside, and then I think the second picture is the packaging. So it's just like the older ones. You have the guard.
Oh yeah,
It's
the bag.
repositions.
So it's
Yes, yeah, it's in there and it's put together. It doesn't. It's not necessarily for the space, but I think it is. Yeah, you can replace like piece by piece. This was far fetched, and I doubt it, but like an awakening of that ridge. Like if all your
I
gears.
swear to God, the amount of times I've heard that already. A ridge awakened.
All the
Ah,
yeah.
it's
I know.
smooth now, boy.
Yeah, I know. I know that's not going to be a thing because it's like, oh, you're going into a stadium where half of the ridges are gone, and then another one where it's not. It's gonna be odd, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll probably learn something. Oh, I know we'll learn something from the anime because even though it is the anime, like Volt and all his launches, like in the angles that he did,
Well,
was
this
kind of a
this anime
insight.
is actually like focusing on the actual rules of the game, apparently.
Oh, it is.
Uh-huh. Like that they're the entire thing about it is the character is trying to become a professional Beyblader. And it
Ooh.
focuses on the teams. And I'm pretty sure the reason why they're doing a team thing is that represents the 3-on-3 style of battling.
Mm.
Like they don't do like the actual 3-on-3 with one person. They're just gonna be like, okay, every battle's a team battle because it's 3-on-3.
That is dope. That is
So,
dope. Well, it seems like it would be. We'll definitely learn. There's just yeah, man. It's like the more we know, the less we know, or the more we find out, the less we know. And I think we'll probably even find out a little bit more. I think it was June 10th where there's a special core event.
yeah, I think so.
I think like June 10th or June 15th, something along that lines. And then I think they're possibly having a tournament and they're releasing some exclusive bays. And then I think that'll just be that. Um, yeah, I guess other news, Beyblade World Cup. Y'all hyped for going?
I mean,
Yeah. I mean, I can't not be excited to go all the way out to Florida to try to play this game.
I'm excited, but at the same time irked, just because like this is supposed to be a very big tournament, especially for like the WBO, and it's not ranked.
Mm-hmm.
It's just kind of sitting there like, the rank is a whole big thing for the WBO,
Yeah,
but we're here going to a tournament that's supposed to be like the biggest tournament of the year, and it's not ranked.
yeah, yeah.
Like,
They got posted up on the they're posted now.
Yep.
yeah, I saw.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, it's for I think just Dark Horseman and Iron Blader. I think there's two other events, but those are the
No,
only two that I saw.
no Dark Horseman. It was Iron Blader and King of the Hill.
Oh yeah, King of the Hill, because Dark Horseman is the invitational, right?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
technically, all of them are invite only because Kanse's got to only invite the people that paid to play.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
technically, they're all invite only.
Yeah. That's quite factual. But
But you know what? I guess the good thing is if I hit number 1 on the rankings before BWC and then I go playing BWC, even if I scrub out, I'm still number 1.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. When is your next tournament?
Next weekend.
Next weekend? All
Yep.
right. Best of luck to you. I hope you do climb up. Even if you don't get one, you get the two and then you get the one shortly after.
Nah, I'm sorry.
Where no, you're good. On and yeah, but hopefully so. And then dang, there was something else I was gonna speak on that. I don't know. It's Beyblade X era. Like I'm gonna be playing these burst tournaments, but I know in the back of my head I'm gonna be thinking about this new system.
Yep.
Because right now the meta's kind of set. I'm pretty sure some people, because I'm still gonna be hosting monthly tournaments, maybe come out with something new and this and that, but it's kind of like well,
James is gonna fall into the cope world where he's just gonna cope. Oh, I lost, but it's okay because Beyblade X is coming around the corner. I don't care anymore. I don't care about my burst ranking anymore.
yeah,
Cope,
yeah.
cope.
It's it's gonna be interesting. I don't know if the WBO is working on anything at the moment. I mean, as far as for Beyblade X, the rules and stuff, I know everyone's talking about it, but I don't know if anything's getting done. Um, we'll see. We'll see. We're in the dark with so much, but regardless, I know when it comes out, I'm gonna play, even if I have to do unranked. It's not a problem for
Yeah,
me.
well, I mean, like, I'll definitely play even if it's unranked. Like even if we don't have a rank system, I'll definitely play that. Like, not everything is about the rank, but it's still just like the rank system. The rank system itself, like you don't need it to play X when it comes out, but eventually you're gonna want to have it.
Yeah, for the standing, it drives that competitive edge, you
Right.
know. Or even if they didn't do it, even if they took for us to have a big event, something that was structured, it's like, hey, just something like that. It's a goal, an end goal, whether it's being ranked number one or if it's winning the national or international tournament.
Well, I mean, like if you don't have rank, you only have unranked, and people are then just hosting tournaments and people come play but not giving any like prize support. what incentive do you have to go play in this tournament? To just go have fun? Well, what if the meta's stale? If the meta's stale, and then you're just like, well, I'm not going to go play in that tournament at all.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like at least with like rank or prizing, at least even if the meta's stale, it kind of gives you an incentive of like, okay, well, at least if I go play, I could win this, or at least if I go play, at least I get some points to try to move up in the ranking.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, it kind of keeps a little extra incentive to actually go play than what no ranking at all has.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. It's we're gonna find out. I know it's like I had probably people listening is probably like, man, we didn't talk about anything new with Beyblade X, but it's like everything. I guess we all know what's up, and it's just I guess we have more questions, and we won't be able to see except for the next. I guess maybe in August, like we'll definitely have more of an intake or insight to it.
We'll know most of everything when the stuff is actually released in July.
100%. Or if they do host a big tournament in June and we're able to watch those videos and actually see people using strategy, because that's another thing. I didn't see anybody making any unique combos. Did you?
Just some of the like YouTubers were just messing with the parts, but I mean, you only have like what 12 different parts to mess with.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what really can you do? I mean,
Yeah.
like drawn sword, you look at it and you're like, okay, this is the most aggressive Beyblade we have. Like, I'm not putting a sharp tip on it. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not putting a round tip on it. So you just keep drawn sword stock. Like,
Mm-hmm.
there's no reason to do anything except to keep it stock.
Oh, this is one more thing I was thinking about as far as the upgrading, if they do the bits. And I thought about rubber flats. I don't know how much it could help or be an advantage or a disadvantage, but I only thought about that because of Exceed. And that is 100% pretty much how Exceed is. It's got a rubber flat and it's pretty much a flat. It looks like it could be fit right on as a bit perfectly. It's probably just giving them a little bit more torque and oomph and capitalizing, I guess, fully on attack, but we'll see.
I'm sure we'll eventually get a rubber flat. It's like a Beyblade staple at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Every series has had one at least. So
Yeah, like I said, like I think eventually they'll start coming out with parts that'll really adjust the gameplay. Like I think it's just like where it's going to be at right at the start. It's going to feel really weird and really awkward because you don't have anything that's like will feel like skill matters.
Mm-hmm.
Like because it's gonna be like, okay, well I'm gonna launch my Beyblade. Well, where can you launch your Beyblade where it's not gonna be in the strike zone of the, the extreme KO or whatever.
Yeah.
You,
Yeah.
you can't. You literally cannot put it. Like if you're playing stamina and they're playing an attack type, they're gonna launch the attack type. You're gonna launch your stamina type. You're going to go into the center. They're gonna catch the ridge and they're gonna go around and they are going to most likely hit you. And if they
Mm-hmm.
hit you, you have to basically hope that you don't get KO'd or extreme finished. And if that happens, then you have to hope you have enough like movement going on from that hit that if they catch the ridge again, they miss you.
Yeah. That might be the tactic. The tactic might not be attack. The tactics might be 100% for defense.
But that's the thing. Like, if it hits you, like right, like if it hits you, like you're going to probably hit a wall somewhere. So you
Yeah.
can't stop that. You can't stop you going and hitting a wall. You just have to hope wherever their Beyblade hits you, it's not in the correct spot where you're going to get KO'd.
That's true. I
And
think,
that's the thing. Like the player element gets completely taken out of this right now.
yeah. I think, um, and I apologize to listeners. I should have said it when we first hopped on because I have to hop off in a second because I am at work and we got some things to take care of soon. But I do have two questions. I had one comment and, well, not two questions. I had one comment and one question. Um, I hear you, Mike. I do agree with that. When I was talking about or thinking about the tactics, I thought about something Jared said, like my skill leaves as soon as my Beyblade leaves my launcher.
Yep.
So it's like, I guess that is truly a definition of how this system is going to be. So it's going to be how well you build your combo and whether you're going for attack or defense and the position. I won't necessarily the angle because I think all these want to be launched flat, but the position of where you're placing your Beyblade for the greatest chance of victory. And then my question, it's more to you, Jared, because you were playing during the time with the metal fight or with the burst to metal fight transition. I mean, yeah, metal fight to burst transition. With those, were you initially playing in that time?
Yes.
Okay. How was it? How was that adjustment period? I know there was a lot of complaints about like quick burst. People didn't like that, but as far as like, was the gameplay itself like super different, or were people hopping in there and being like, y'all didn't initially have rubber flats, but
No, we
were
got
you?
it a little bit later with Excalibur's release, but for the most part, with the game, at least with just straight burst on their initial release, it was like all stamina. Like attack was kind of weird because you had just as much of a risk as bursting yourself because there was no dash drivers or anything yet. Those don't
Mhm,
come till way later. That's part of the reason why Classic even works is because we have dash drivers for attack types now. 'Cause back then, the attack types were bursting just as much as
mhm,
the stamina types they're trying to beat. So it was more risk for like little reward. So it wasn't worth it trying to play attack. We had a couple like almost tier zero kind of combos come around with the initial 4 releases. There was like one good combo and everything else was not worth playing. But
mhm.
we had like Death Scyther on defense was like super good. Odin heavy defense was like another big notable combo that was like just spammed forever until eventually Odin got banned. Both Death Scythers got banned within the first year of
Yeah,
Burst existing. So
yeah. Dang, that made me think of one more question. I'm holding myself up, but I mean, it's Beyblade. I I can think because I can't remember, but what is the burst resistance? Because these bays weren't bursting. I mean, they did burst, but they looked like they had some decent resistance. Is it the number that shows the burst resistance
No,
the number is
the
what is
height,
for the
the
height?
height? There's
height
like
and
one for the
size.
height and the number of sides the ratchet has. That's what it's called.
Hmm.
Okay. What was the something signified the resistance though?
The bits are what does the resistance.
Okay. And how
The
do you
I don't know exactly. I just remember hearing that that's the part that determines your burst resistance. There's probably like I'd have to look at it physically to know. Um, but I think there's like a little thing just above like where the actual tip stops at the ratchet, and I think that there's something there that has to do with the burst resistance.
okay.
Um, yeah.
Yeah. What that that's gonna be interesting to see too, to see which ones have the most burst resistance because those if we do run in I didn't see a lot of bursts. I'll say that from the videos I watched it
Yeah, I
was
didn't
more
see a lot.
KOs.
Yeah,
Um
no,
I don't
no,
think
there
it's the
wasn't a lot of
focus though. I think they just
Uh-uh.
wanted to grab the burst mechanic because it's exciting from the previous series.
mhm,
That's my
Well,
guess.
I guess also in a way they probably figured we did the burst gimmick. Like, how do you then take away a win condition? You know what I mean. Like you're evolving your game. How do you take away the win condition?
yeah. Yeah.
Like you might as well just improve on it and keep going.
Mhm. Man, it's exciting. We're still gonna have to wait a couple more months. I was real hyped the other night. Like I said, stayed up till 2 in the morning. I didn't fall. I got like 2 hours of sleep that night. Um, I had to wake up at 5 and go to work. But uh, that's I know that's not healthy or responsible of me. But I was hyped. I was hyped watching it. I think everybody was hyped. It was a funny time. I was watching Zanky and he was like yelling and he started calling his dad bro. And he was like, "Don't call me bro, like I'm dad." I was like, "Oh yeah." Everyone is hyped right now. Like the respect goes out the window. But that was just funny. Something funny I wanted to mention. But do y'all have anything else?
Nope, not right
Yeah.
now.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I apologize to the listeners. I know this is a much shorter show. I have to. I am at work. I got to get back to it. But thank you all for listening. Discussion for Beyblade X. Let us know in the comments like some of the things that you think. If you're hyped for the system, not hyped for the system. What you think about as far as the competitive scene versus just having fun. The
We
masters class.
we still have that thread on the WBO for questions. Go to it and post questions that you want us to answer. Like especially like if you're wondering how we think about a certain thing with Beyblade X, ask it. We can respond to it.
100%, 100%. Yeah, and that's all I got. So thank you all. As always, continue to grow your local community. Stay active in the game, and take care.
Bye.